What's up, guys? Welcome to Between the Sheets, where we take 12 years of marriage experience and give unsolicited advice to those who choose to enter our room.
So just like the last time and the time before that, we're just gonna jump right into it.
I've got 3 boys and 2 girls. I had never had problems disciplining my boys. I got them straight at a young age. But my daughters, I have this rule. I never put my hands on them because I don't want them to think it's okay for a man to put his hands on them. So they kind of take advantage of that, I think, and have me wrapped around their fingers.
Yeah.
So my question is, do you have any advice as a father of girls yourself on disciplining your daughters?
Yeah, no. Yeah. No. Ain't got nothing for you, player. Sorry about that. I got 4 daughters. I've never hit spanked one of them because I, too, didn't want them to equate a man's love with physical abuse, so I've never hit them. They've taken full advantage of it. I'm completely and totally wrapped around my daughter's fingers. I give them everything they ask me for. I've never turned them down. I've bought them everything they've ever wanted. I've traveled. I've bought horses, cars, houses. I have ruined my daughters. All 4 of them girls is spoiled. So if you come for one of Steve Harvey's daughters, if you're not in the spoil a woman business, keep moving.
So can you guess why I chose this video?
I'm gonna let you start.
Okay. All right. So let me just first start by saying we have no daughters.
We do not.
Well, we do.
We have a goddaughter.
We have a goddaughter
She might
who we
have us
love
both
very, very
wrapped
much.
around her finger.
But we do have 2 sons. Now, the dude said he disciplined his sons, so it sounds like to me he whoop his sons, but doesn't discipline the daughters or whatever. Steve said he has no advice for this dude on how to discipline the daughters. Okay, we don't whoop our kids, okay? No. We have alternative ways of discipline and they work great. Trust me. And when I say alternative,
they don't work for me.
No, they don't work for me. And that's one reason why you need a man in the house, because the man is the disciplinary. So
the little one.
So
right for us. Me.
And no, we don't torture him. We don't string him up by the toes and nothing crazy like that. But they definitely do what I say. Do I have to repeat myself often? Sure. But that's with any kid. But I have an issue with this video simply because I don't agree with whooping kids, let alone a daughter. But I just sat here and watched Steve, and obviously the guy is doing the same because we're talking about people being wrapped around the finger. Basically say that they basically don't really discipline the daughters or know how to. And then you turn around and then you spoil them. What do you think that creates in society? Because the majority of of daughter dads that I know personally, the daughter has the dad wrapped around their fingers, and they don't really discipline the daughter. It's really on the mom to discipline the daughter. But does the daughter listen to the mom? Not really, because the daughter is a daddy's girl. So I'm gonna listen to daddy, and daddy is giving me what I want. So now I have to equate my relationship with my dad to whatever relationship I get out into the world and seek out of a man. And you heard Steve end off with saying, well, if you're not in the business of spoiling Steve Harvey's daughters, yeah, then basically pass on by. So now we got a whole bunch of princesses running around because the dads don't seem to understand that their daughters need just as much discipline as the sons do. How you disciplining the men, especially in situations where you have sons and daughters, how you disciplining the brothers and then letting the daughter, the sister, just skate by. Your sons are seeing that, and they're equating that to what they go out in the world and see. So now everybody is protective of the daughter, of the girl, but nobody's really protective of the sons. So now you got the daughter going out into the world thinking that she can't be touched and that she should receive and get everything that she wants. Use her money, build her bag up, and also use and take other folks' bags. Like, get money from other people, use her dad's money, ask her brother for money, get her boyfriend's money. And when no one's giving it to her, now everybody else is the problem. How does this work out in relationships? So from a young age, you have no discipline and you've been spoiled rotten. But then you have the boys over here who have been getting whoopings and stuff. And that's a psychological issue that they're having to deal with, on top of watching their sister do almost the same thing that they're doing, not get disciplined. So now I got to look at, okay, so hit boys, good. Hit girls, bad. Discipline boys, good. Discipline girls, bad. How are we supposed to reconcile this when these kids become adults? All kids need discipline. Now, how you choose to give it to them, that's up to you as a parent, but they still need it, whether they're a boy or a girl. We are literally creating double standards from the age of babyhood on up until adulthood, just a walking double standard. This is why you have a lot of women out there who thinks they can put their hand on men and not expect to get a hand put back on them. Should men be hitting women? Absolutely not. But keep your hands to yourself. You can't just go around displaying violence on other human beings and not expect violence to be displayed to you. I don't get this line of thinking. And did you hear the audience? The audience, woo! Clapping and celebrating the fact that, oh, I spoiled my daughter. This is where this princess complex comes in. It's not just Disney movies. It's the fathers also creating it in their daughter's mind. Because the fathers of late tell their daughters to go out, don't depend on no man. You go get your own, baby. You go to college and you build your own life. Should she build her own life? Should she get her own? 100%. But within reason. You can't just make this building of your life and going to college and creating all this, whatever you're creating, in spite or in place of trying to build relationships with other people and with men, with a man, to go forward and to create another family like you came out of, especially if you had a good life, a good relationship with your parents. So you go out to not create another situation like you just came from. I mean, I'm gonna let you take it, because
Okay, so if you watched our podcast before, you know that I did not grow up with my dad in the home. My parents separated when I was like 8, 9 years old, something like that. But I was very much a daddy's girl. My daddy has only ever disciplined me once in my entire memorable life. One time. My mom has. Not very often, because I was just a good kid. Like, I didn't require a whole lot of discipline because I didn't like being disciplined. That didn't work for me. My brothers, on the other hand, were very heavily disciplined. Not so much by my dad, though. But a part of that is because my dad wasn't at home. So it came from my mom. As far as the whole spoiling thing goes, a daddy is a girl's first view of a male-female relationship, right? I married my dad. in a lot of ways. This man is a lot like my dad. I was spoiled. You are.
But your dad wasn't there.
My dad wasn't in the house. It wasn't like he wasn't there. Don't act like,
know what I'm saying.
Don't do my dad like
you
that.
make it seem like, oh, he's not here.
No, my dad, he wasn't in the house with me every day.
I am a very present father, okay? I live here.
That's not what I mean. I meant personality-wise.
Anyway,
Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Anyway, again, Daddy is the first example of how a man is supposed to treat a woman, right? So, to an extent, I get what Steve Harvey is saying as far as you give them everything because you don't want to disappoint them and you don't want them to want for anything, right? I think it is a very fine balancing act that has to happen because as a father, you need to show her what she should be expecting from a man, right? You do.
You do, but
at the same time, you have to discipline her when she requires discipline. Because if you don't, if you over here putting your finger or a fork in a socket,
I mean,
but some of them don't know what to do with that. They'll just pick them up and put them somewhere else without actually educating. And a lot of times we think of discipline as something really negative, something hurtful or something like that. But that's not necessarily what discipline has to be. Discipline can be something as simple as a clear explanation on why you shouldn't do this and these are the consequences. And then it escalates from there, right? If I've already told you don't stick the fork in the socket, the outlet, and then two minutes later you over there sticking a fork in the socket again, then my level of discipline has to step up a level, right? Because you're teaching. You can't just not discipline her because she's a girl. Or a boy, for moms and boys. I think it's easier for a mom to discipline both sexes than it is for a dad to discipline both sexes.
It's easier,
yes.
But it's not proficient. It's not efficient either.
No, it's not, because that little one of ours
really work a lot.
Don't listen to me. He don't listen to me at all, y'all. He just, pray about it. But it's still easy. I still attempt to do it. It's not like I'm not doing it. He just don't listen.
Exactly. That's why
I'm still doing it though.
You need the authority.
You do.
In the house.
But I haven't just given up. It's not like it's not. What he's saying is, I don't discipline my daughters.
He probably relies on the mom to do that though.
But still, I'm not relying. While I do have to call you, I am still disciplining him.
Yeah.
I don't just wait until your dad gets home.
You know a lot of people do that though.
No, I'm not about to do that. I'm not doing that. We gonna have this conversation. You about to get in trouble, and then I'm gonna go tell your daddy because you're not listening to me as I'm sitting here talking to you. Nerves. But to go back to that fine line, as a dad, you are both preparing her for her future relationships and preparing her for life. She needs your guidance. Again, you don't have to put your hands on her. You don't have to put your hands on any child.
No, you don't.
You wouldn't walk up and just pop a grown person because they did something you didn't like.
No, you wouldn't.
That's not how that works. So you need to show the same respect for a child. But that's just our opinion, and that's the way that we parent. But she needs your guidance. You can't guide her if you are her yes man, because what you're going to tell your sons is you need to surround yourself with people who will tell you the truth, with people who will tell you no. She needs to surround herself with those same kind of people, and you have to be one of those people. You can't just be yes, because you're my princess, because she's going to go out into the real world and it's not going to be yes. And daddy's not always going to be there. As much as you want to be, as much as you think you will be, at some point in time, you're not going to be there to help her. And she's going to have to know how to stand on her own 2 feet.
Right.
And if you haven't provided her with that guidance, you are doing her a disservice. And I can speak from experience because, again, I got no discipline from my daddy. I got very little guidance, really, from either of my parents. I went off to college and was lost, confused. I didn't know what to do. I had to figure it out on my own. And I did, but it was a very, very scary and challenging time for me. 18 years old, out on my own, in a brand new city, surrounded by all these people I don't know. I got to figure out how to eat. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, they're going to be like, this girl dumb.
Listen,
Because I thought you was dumb.
I was a smidge ditzy at 18. I was. My mom used to tell me all the time, you're very book smart, but you have no common sense. You didn't help me with it, so I don't. Who's really to blame? Is it me or is it you? I figured it out. I evolved, right? But there was a period of time where I was a little lost because I did not get the guidance that I need. I did not get the discipline that I needed. I didn't get the counsel or the direction that I needed. And it's not just discipline. It's not just you did something bad, let me pop you. You did something bad, go stand in the corner. You did something bad, let me take this from you. That's not all discipline, right? Because when you hear you need discipline to build muscle in the gym, right? You need discipline to study hard and become a doctor. So we take this whole discipline as you did something bad, let me give you this bad consequence to it. But really, discipline is just structure.
Right.
And if you can't provide structure to your child, then you are doing that child a disservice. And they are going to grow up and they are going to suffer for it, not you. Because again, at some point in time, you're not going to be there. They're going to have to manage this on their own.
And I was, as you were talking, I was thinking, I was like, man, in this situation, we are creating an issue because I can hear women now, see, this is why these men need to stop creating these babies and walking away from them. But what good are you there if you're there and you're still not providing what you're supposed to be providing, except for things? Because I think fathers, especially Black fathers, in these situations where they have a daughter, they are one, as you just said, doing a disservice to the daughter or for the daughter. And also on top of that, creating an issue of materialism, because you heard him say, I gave them everything. I bought this, I bought that, I did that, and I gave them this, I spoiled them. Now we have a situation to where now you have a very unrealistic view of life in general, to where I need all this materialism. So no matter what anybody is presenting me with, if it ain't on the same scale as my dad or what I could do for myself, I don't want it. I don't care what type of person you are. You could be a great person. You can be a person that will satisfy all my other needs or all the other things that I want in a man, but I'm gonna bypass it because you can't spoil me like my daddy spoiled me. That's insane. As a father, I think if you are raising your child like that, you are dropping the ball, because you are creating a capitalistic material monster out of your kid. And that is going to be hell to deal with in a relationship. It's going to be hard for them to find somebody that is going to satisfy what they want, because you have created this person that is just running off of the wants in life. The structure wasn't there. The discipline wasn't there in the beginning. And if you are not disciplining, I have to ask, are you providing them a really well laid out roadmap to life? And because life is not just about money. It's also about relationships and how to build them and how to build meaningful ones and how to be a true person in society, a good person in society, upstanding person in society. If you're not disciplining them, how are you doing that? How are you giving them the keys and the knowledge on how to be this type of person? How to identify this type of person? How to even want this type of person in your life? If I'm getting everything I want from my dad from a very young age, and now I can give it to myself, what do I need anybody else for? And what do I need to listen to anybody else for? I don't know. This is a bad situation because I think, again, men have been raising their daughters in a very different way than they raise their sons, and they raise their okay. We've talked about before how women, especially single moms, coddle their sons, but the dads coddle the daughters. Now, in scenarios where there is a mom and a dad in the home, in good scenarios, because we know y'all like be like, well, just because there are two parents in the home doesn't mean it was good scenario set up for the kids. Got that. But when there is a good setup family foundation for the kids in the home, where there's a mom, loving dad, and you have a son and you have a daughter, the majority of the time, that son is not coddled by anybody, but that daughter will be.
I'm not gonna lie. If we had a daughter, she probably would.
The daughter usually will at least have the dad wrapped around the finger.
Probably had it wrapped around.
She might be at odds with the mom, but that dad, yeah. And they're the mom's boys, but she not coddling him though, because the dad is not gonna allow that. The
boys are definitely not coddling.
The mom though will not stop the dad from coddling the daughter. What footing would she have to be able to do that? Because he's not gonna listen. The dad is not gonna listen to the mom, but the mom and the coddling of the son, the mom will definitely listen to the dad. You gonna make that boy weak. All right, you right, Sherman. I ain't gonna.
Not Sherman.
I ain't gonna coddle him no more. You right.
I can't stand
I'ma love him through it, but I ain't gonna coddle him. I ain't gonna make him weak, because the world out there eat him alive. He a man. But the world won't eat the girl alive? No,
but
because
a lot of times it won't.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. No, it won't eat her alive, because too many men have been raised in scenarios to understand that you need to help the damsel in distress. That's how the world is shaped. Protect women. Well, what about the men that hurt women? That's not the majority of men doing that. The majority of men walking around are very respectful of women. Maybe not bending over backwards like a lot of women want men to do, but respectful of them and making sure that they are not harming them. And if somebody is publicly harming them, I ain't gonna say most, but a good number of men will probably step in like, what's going on, guys? Stop that. All that. You know what they do. You know what men do. But anyway, the world is set up differently. And like, again, dads are you're dropping the balls, dude. You gotta discipline these daughters. You have to lay the roadmap. Show them what they should be looking for in a man, right? Show them what the world is going to throw at them, right? And you also, when you see them doing things that is not a good look, you gotta step in and be the dad and be like, hey, stop this, because this is gonna lead to this. And you don't want to be in this. And the problem is, we don't give girls from a young age on up, we don't give them the list of consequences that comes from their actions and their decisions that they're making. Like, with the whole discipline thing, that's a part of discipline. You have to let them know, if you do this, this is going to happen. Or even if it doesn't happen, it's a very large chance that this might lead to this. And if you get in this situation, it's not going to be a good time for you.
We have to do the same thing for our boys
we
too,
do.
Because again, he talks about disciplining his boys and not disciplining the girls. And I think a lot of time the boys get the short end of the stick because they get all of this discipline, but then they don't get the love, the comfort, the compassion, because we're too busy trying to make them strong, right? We're too busy trying to prepare them for the world, especially our black boys, because we understand what our black boys face in the world, right? But your home is supposed to be a haven for your
Safe
children.
place.
It has to be, because like we already know as adults, the world does not love us. and especially does not love our little black boys.
No.
They love our little black boys. They don't love our big black boys.
They don't even love the little black boys.
They love them more than they
But
do.
they do, but when you think about things like, okay, little black boys in school are kind of singled out.
Preschool state.
Right.
Preschool teachers.
You already think
That's why mine at home.
they're in a place to where, all right, this little dark boy over here, I think he's making trouble over there. So let me just go ahead and keep my eye on him.
Baby, the coloring Elmo ain't bothering nobody.
So
you can't be the bully at home, right? Disciplining him, being hard on him, and then send him out to the world for the world to be hard on him too.
right.
It's a fine line for them as well. My boy still, that 9-year-old still come in here every night. Mom, can we cuddle? Come on.
But and you're right. I can agree with you 100%. But at least it's not a culture shock.
I mean,
and the reason I say that because it's not a culture shock because, you getting disciplined at home. You kind of expect to go out into the world that, okay, if I do X, Y, Z, it might be a bad thing that's going to follow this.
But
hold on. It might be something bad that's going to follow this. But with girls, there's a culture shock that happens there.
There is.
And that's where you get well, he didn't do this for me, so I don't want to be with him. Not knowing that wasn't that bad and that is normal.
I didn't like the way my boss talked to me, so I quit.
That.
But you can teach them that without being the example for it.
Yeah, you can. But I'm saying though, it's a toss up. It's a different thing. I
think it's always gonna be a shock because I can read about something all day long. I can hear about something all day long. I can have you tell me your experience all day long. It's totally different when you go out and experience it for yourself.
It is, but if you don't know it's going to happen to you.
We're not going to teach our children.
You're right. You're right. But I'm
tell them about it.
No, you're right. But I'm saying though, it's going to be a shock if you read about it, right? If it happens, because even if you read about something, humans can always revert back to, well, that's not going to happen to me because I'm different. But if you don't read about it or even know about it, it's going to be a bigger shock.
Agreed.
And you really not going to know how to deal with it. At least if I read about it and I see something happening on the norm to somebody like me, a male, I can be like, okay, it's not going to happen to me. But if it does happen to me, I need to do X, Y, Z. But in a situation to where you're getting things handed to you, and then the first time you step out and you on a bread aisle somewhere.
You're not going to bring up my past.
Yeah. I mean, but if you step out and you're used to having something, given to you in your hand, silver platter all the time, and you don't get what you've been getting from XYZ because you thought that's what it's like royalty for the most part. You used to being waited on hand and foot. But then you step out, coming to America, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It don't work out the same.
It's what we're trying to teach our kids. Like, yes, we can buy you this, but is it something that you actually need? Like, learn how to live or deal with things within reason, basically.
Yeah.
Don't just expect it all to just
don't
come
be
to
delusional.
You. Right. Let's walk in reality. Even if your reality is way up here, you can always bring it down a little bit because you never know when your reality is going to change and then you're ill prepared for it.
Exactly. You're ill prepared for it. And then when you realize that you're ill prepared for it, now you're mad.
Too late.
You're mad. You're mad at a lot of people, but you're not mad at the people who didn't prepare you. You're mad at everybody else because they didn't do what the people who was supposed to prepare you for, they didn't do what they did. Well, my dad was a real man because he XYZ. I watched him do XYZ and he did this for me. That doesn't make the guy that you're dealing with not a real man.
No.
The same thing go for dudes, you know what I'm saying? My mom was very compassionate with me. She gave me hugs. She kisses my boo-boos when I was a kid. But this girl, she doesn't hug me, and she's not as considerate as my mother.
She didn't make my sandwich bread from scratch.
She don't know you like that, bro. You got to tell her if that's something that you want, and then, you know, you have that conversation with her. We understand your mom didn't prepare you for this relationship scene like she should have, but you need to talk to your girl. And if she decides to not do it for you, you ain't got to throw a tantrum. Just bounce. It's pretty simple. But I ain't got nothing left to say.
I got nothing.
Dads, discipline your daughters. Find out a way to do that, because
A healthy way.
You sending them out here and they hell on wheels out here because they're princesses, and the world does not treat them like princesses as adults. That's not how the world works. Were you about to say something?
I'm still a princess.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. You are a human being. All right. Peace, y'all.
Good
Peace.
night.